Warning: viewer discretion is advised. The story you're about to experience contains intense horror, unsettling imagery, and themes that may disturb sensitive audiences. Watch alone if you dare, but keep a light on, and avoid looking into mirrors. Have you ever felt someone watching you from the other side of the mirror? What if she's not just a reflection, but something alive, waiting for you to let her in? Hit that subscribe button and join us as we unravel the terrifying mystery of She Lives in the Mirror. She Lives in the Mirror Part 1. The screen flickered to life, Ayesha Khan's face filling the frame as she adjusted her phone's camera. Her dark eyes sparkled with excitement, her hijab neatly pinned, a streak of purple hair peeking out rebelliously. Salam alaikum, my haunted Pakistan fam, she said, her voice bright but edged with a thrill. It's your girl, Ayesha, coming to you live from, well, nowhere yet, but we're about to change that. Tonight, we're headed to Shahpur, a sleepy little town with a big secret. They say there's a Haveli there, abandoned for decades, hiding a mirror that's not just haunted, it's cursed. Ready for some chills? Let's roll. She panned the camera to the backseat of her beat-up Suzuki Mayron, where Zain slouched, scrolling on his phone. His glasses glinted under the car's dim interior light. Yo, Zain, tell the fam what we're hunting tonight, Ayesha said, nudging him. Zain sighed, pushing his glasses up. Ayesha, this is probably just another dusty old house. You got that creepy email, 2 days ago? Sounds like a prank to me. Prank or not, it's content. Ayesha shot back, grinning, and content is life, right, Saba? In the passenger seat, Saba, Ayesha's younger cousin, fidgeted with her dupatta. Her round face was pale, her eyes darting nervously. I don't know, API, she mumbled. This place sounds wrong. That email gave me the creeps. Ayesha laughed, but it was forced. The email had unsettled her too. It had arrived in her YouTube channel's inbox, from a sender named Roshni 1008-175. No subject, just a block of text. The Haveli in Shahpur waits for you. The mirror holds her. She lives in the mirror and she's watching. Come, Ayesha, see her truth. No signature, no reply address, just those words looping in her mind like a bad song. She'd checked the map. Shahpur was real, a small town 3 hours from Lahore. The Haveli was mentioned in local forums, whispered about as a place even kids avoided. Perfect for her channel, which was teetering on the edge of obscurity. Haunted Pakistan needed a viral hit, and this was it. Relax, Saba, Ayesha said, steering the car onto a narrow, potholed road. It's just a spooky old house. We'll film some shadows, maybe catch a creaky door, and boom, views for days. Saba hugged herself. I just have a bad feeling, okay, like something's waiting for us. Zain snorted. You've been watching too many of Ayesha's videos. You're spooked before we even get there. The car rattled through the darkening countryside, fields of sugarcane fading into the dusk. Shahpur appeared like a ghost itself. Low mud, brick houses, a single mosque's minaret piercing the sky. The streets were empty, save for a stray dog that watched them pass with glowing eyes. Ayesha's GPS beeped, directing them to a dirt path leading out of town. At its end stood the Haveli. It loomed against the twilight, a sprawling, crumbling mansion of weathered stone and arched windows. Vines choked its walls, and the iron gate hung off its hinges, creaking in the wind. Ayesha parked, her heart quickening. This is it, she whispered, more to herself than the camera. The Shahpur Haveli. Zain grabbed his camera bag, muttering, looks like it's gonna collapse on us. Saba stayed in the car, clutching her phone like a lifeline. Come on, Saba, Ayesha coaxed. You're my co-star tonight. The fam loves you. Saba shook her head. I'll stay here. It's too quiet. Ayesha sighed but didn't push. She and Zain stepped out, the air heavy with the scent of dust and decay. The Haveli's entrance was a carved wooden door, its paint peeling like dead skin. Ayesha pushed it open, the hinges screaming. Inside, the air was stale, thick with the weight of years. The foyer was grand once, marble floors now cracked, chandeliers draped in cobwebs. Ayesha's flashlight beam danced across the walls, catching faded portraits of stern-faced men and women in old-fashioned clothes. Creepy vibes, check. Ayesha said to the camera, her voice echoing, "Let's find that mirror." Zain adjusted his camera, the red recording light blinking. "Ayesha, let's make this quick. This place is giving me the heebie-jeebies." They moved deeper, their footsteps loud in the silence. The Haveli seemed to breathe. Faint drafts stirred the air, carrying whispers too soft to decipher. Ayesha's phone buzzed with live stream comments. "This place is insane. Is that a shadow behind you?" She glanced over her shoulder, seeing nothing but darkness. "Chill, fam," she said, forcing a laugh. "It's just the lighting." A creak came from upstairs, sharp and deliberate. Zain froze. "You heard that, right? Probably just the house settling," Ayesha said, but her pulse quickened. She led the way up a spiral staircase, its wood groaning under their weight. The second floor was a maze of corridors, doors hanging ajar. At the end of one hallway, a door stood out, bolted shut, with strange symbols carved into the wood. "This has to be it," Ayesha said, her voice low. She reached for the bolt, but a voice stopped her. "You shouldn't be here." They spun around. An old woman stood in the shadows, her face weathered, her dupatta draped like a shroud. Her eyes were sharp, glinting in the flashlight's beam. "Who are you?" Ayesha asked, aiming the camera. "Amma John." The woman said, "I look after this place. You're the YouTube girl, aren't you? The one chasing ghosts." Ayesha grinned, guilty. "We're here about the mirror, the one that's haunted." Amma John's face darkened. "It's not a story for your little videos. She's real. She's in there." She pointed at the bolted door, "and she's watching." Zain scoffed. Come on, it's just an old mirror." Amma John's eyes narrowed. "Don't mock what you don't understand, boy. She's been here since before your grandparents were born. Roshni, they called her, trapped in that mirror, hungry for someone to let her out." Ayesha's skin prickled. "Roshni, who was she?" Amma John hesitated, then said, "A woman wronged, betrayed. Her soul's bound to that mirror, and she'll use your curiosity against you. Don't stare too long. She'll see you." Ayesha exchanged a look with Zain, who rolled his eyes but looked uneasy. "Can we see it?" she asked. Amma John sighed. "On your own heads be it." She produced a rusted key and unlocked the door. It swung open with a groan, revealing a small, windowless room. Dust motes floated in the flashlight's beam, and at the far wall stood the mirror. It was massive, nearly 6 feet tall, its gold frame intricately carved with flowers and vines. The glass was unnaturally clear, reflecting the room with a sharpness that felt wrong. Ayesha approached, her reflection staring back. For a moment she thought her reflection smiled. A slow, sly curve of the lips she hadn't made. "Whoa," she whispered, stepping back. "Did you see that?" "See what?" Zain asked, aiming his camera at the mirror. "It's just a mirror, Ayesha. Know it. My reflection, it moved weird." She shook her head, laughing nervously. "Okay, maybe I'm imagining things. Let's set up for the live stream." They propped the camera on a tripod, Ayesha standing before the mirror. "All right, fam," she said, her voice brightening for the audience. "Here it is, the cursed mirror of Shahpur Haveli. Legend says a spirit named Roshni lives inside. Let's see if we can get her to say hi." The comments exploded. "That mirror is creepy." "Did anyone else see a shadow move?" "Ayesha, get out of there." Saba appeared at the door, her face pale. "API, I changed my mind. I'm coming in." Finally, Ayesha said, "Come on, stand here with me." Saba hesitated, then stepped into the room. The air seemed to thicken, the temperature dropping. Ayesha shivered but kept filming. "Okay, let's try something. Roshni, if you're here, give us a sign." Silence, then a faint whisper, like a breath against glass. "Ayesha?" "Did you hear that?" Saba squeaked, grabbing Ayesha's arm. "It's the wind," Zain said, but his voice wavered. He checked the camera. Weird, the battery's draining fast. The lights flickered, plunging the room into darkness before snapping back on. Ayesha's phone buzzed wildly, comments flooding. "There's someone behind you. I saw a face in the mirror." She turned, but the room was empty. Except for their reflections, Saba, you okay? Ayesha asked, noticing her cousin's trembling. Saba stared at the mirror, her eyes wide. It's her, she's there. Ayesha followed her gaze. The mirror showed their reflections, but something was off. Saba's reflection wasn't trembling. It was still, staring directly at them. And behind it, a shadow moved, coalescing into a figure. A woman, gaunt, with hollow eyes and a twisted smile. Saba screamed, stumbling back. She's looking at me. Her knees buckled, and she collapsed, her phone clattering to the floor. Saba, Ayesha dropped to her side, shaking her. Zain swung the camera around, his face pale. What the hell was that? Amma John stood at the door, her expression grim. I told you. She sees you now. Ayesha looked back at the mirror. Her reflection stared back, normal now. But for a split second, her eyes seemed to flicker black. The camera's red light blinked out, and the screen froze on a single frame. The mirror, reflecting a woman who wasn't there. Part 2. The reflections whisper. The Haveli's air felt heavier, as if the walls themselves were holding their breath. Ayesha knelt beside Saba, her cousin's face pale and clammy, her breathing shallow. The mirror loomed behind them, its gold frame glinting in the dim light of Zain's flashlight. The camera lay on the floor, its screen frozen on that haunting image. A gaunt woman with hollow eyes, staring from the mirror where no one should have been. Saba, wake up. Ayesha shook her gently, her voice trembling. Come on, please. Zain hovered nearby, his glasses fogged with nervous sweat. Is she okay? What the hell happened? She just dropped. Amma John stood at the door, her expression unreadable. I warned you, she said, her voice low. Roshni saw her. She doesn't like being looked at. Ayesha's head snapped up. What does that mean? What did she do to my cousin? Amma John didn't answer, only pointed at the mirror. You brought your machines, your cameras. She doesn't like that either. Leave now, before she takes more. Zain grabbed the camera, checking the footage. This is insane. The battery's at 5%. It was full when we got here. He rewound the last frame, his face paling. Ayesha, look at this. Ayesha glanced at the screen. The frozen image showed the mirror, and there, unmistakable, was the woman. Her face skeletal, her eyes like twin voids. Ayesha's stomach churned. That's not possible. There was no one else here. Saba stirred, moaning softly. Her eyes fluttered open, wide with terror. API. She was in the mirror. She looked at me. Her eyes. They were empty. Ayesha helped Saba sit up, brushing her cousin's hair back. You're okay now. It was just a scare, maybe a trick of the light. It wasn't. Saba's voice cracked. She said my name, API. I heard her. Zain shook his head. This is getting out of hand. Ayesha, we need to go, now. But Ayesha's eyes drifted back to the mirror. Its surface was still, reflecting only the room, but something about it pulled at her. A whisper at the edge of her mind, soft and insistent. Ayesha, come closer. She blinked, shaking her head. We can't leave yet. This is huge for the channel. Did you see the comments? People are freaking out. We're going viral. Zain threw his hands up. Viral. Saba fainted. Ayesha, this isn't a game. That thing in the mirror is a story. Ayesha cut in, her voice sharp. And stories don't hurt people. We need to figure out what's going on. Maybe there's a projector or something rigged in here. Amma John laughed, a dry, humorless sound. You think this is a trick? Roshni is no parlor game. She's been here for 150 years, waiting. You've caught her eye now. She won't let you go easily. Saba clutched Ayesha's arm. Please, API, let's go home. I don't want to be here anymore. Ayesha hesitated, torn between her cousin's fear and the magnetic pull of the mirror. Okay, she said finally. We'll check one more thing, then we'll go. Zain, let's look around. There's got to be something explaining this. Wires, speakers, anything. Zain groaned but followed, his flashlight sweeping the room. The walls were bare, the floor covered in dust undisturbed except for their footprints. No wires, no devices, just the mirror, standing like a silent sentinel. Ayesha's gaze kept returning to it, her reflection staring back. Was it her imagination, Or did her reflection's eyes linger a moment too long? They moved to the hallway, searching for clues. The Haveli's corridors were a labyrinth, lined with locked doors and faded tapestries. Zain kicked at a loose floorboard, revealing a small, leather-bound journal, its pages yellowed and brittle. "Jackpot," he said, picking it up. "Maybe this has answers." They gathered in the foyer, where the chandelier swayed slightly, though no breeze stirred the air. Zain opened the journal, its script faded but legible. "It's dated 1875, he said, scanning the pages. "Written by some British officer, Colonel James Harrow. Listen to this. The locals speak of a woman, Roshni, accused of witchcraft. Her husband, a merchant, betrayed her to save his own skin. They burned her at the stake, but not before she cursed the mirror in her home. She vowed her soul would live on, trapped in the glass, seeking vengeance. I dismissed it as superstition, but last night I saw her in the mirror, a face not my own with eyes that burned. I fear she is real." Ayesha's skin prickled. "Roshni, that's the name from the email." Saba hugged herself, shivering. "She's still here, isn't she? That's what I saw." Zain flipped through more pages. It gets weirder. Harrow writes that the mirror was locked away after Roshni's death, but people kept disappearing. Servants, visitors, anyone who looked too long. He sealed the room himself. Ayesha's phone buzzed, the live stream still running despite the low battery. Comments flooded in. "That journal is creepy. Did you hear that whisper?" "There's something behind Ayesha." She spun around, heart racing, but the foyer was empty. "Zain, check the footage," she said, her voice tight. He replayed the last minute. There, in the background, a shadow flickered near the staircase. A tall, thin figure that vanished when Ayesha turned. "What the hell?" Zain muttered. "This place is messed up." Ayesha forced a smile for the camera. "Okay, fam, you're seeing this live. Something's definitely off here. Let's go back to the mirror room, set up some extra lights and a no." Saba grabbed her arm. "API, please, I heard her again. She's saying your name." Ayesha froze. "That whisper, Ayesha." It was back, soft as a breath, coming from nowhere and everywhere. She shook her head, trying to clear it. "It's just the Haveli. Old houses make noises." But the whisper grew louder, more distinct. "Ayesha, look at me." She turned, almost against her will, toward a small, cracked mirror hanging in the foyer. Her reflection stared back, but her eyes, were they darker? For a split second, her face seemed to shift, her features sharpening, her smile twisting into something cruel. "Zain, did you see that?" she whispered, stepping back. Zain aimed his flashlight at the mirror. "See what? You're freaking me out." "My reflection." "It wasn't me." Ayesha's voice shook. She grabbed her phone, checking the live stream. The comments were frantic. Your eyes went black. "There's a woman in the mirror. Get out now." Saba whimpered, backing toward the door. "API, she's everywhere. I saw her in my phone screen too." Ayesha checked Saba's phone. The screen was dark, but as she tilted it, a faint image appeared. A woman's silhouette, her head tilted at an unnatural angle. Ayesha dropped the phone, her hands trembling. "Okay, this is too much." A loud crash interrupted her. The camera tripod in the mirror room fell, the lens shattering. Zain ran to check, cursing. "The hell? No one touched it." Amma John appeared, her face grim. "She's awake now. You've stirred her. Leave, or she'll take more than your cousin's breath." But Ayesha couldn't tear her eyes from the mirror room's doorway. The whisper was louder now, almost a song. "Ayesha, stay with me." She took a step toward it, her feet moving as if pulled by an invisible thread. Zain grabbed her arm. "What are you doing? We're leaving." "No," Ayesha said, her voice distant. "I need to know. I need to see her." Saba sobbed, clinging to Zain. "She's doing something to API. We have to stop her." Zain dragged Ayesha back, but her eyes stayed fixed on the mirror. "Snap out of it, Ayesha. This isn't worth it." The lights flickered again, plunging the Haveli into darkness. When they snapped back on, a new sound filled the air. A low, guttural laugh, echoing from the mirror room. Ayesha's phone buzzed, the live stream glitching. The screen showed her face, but her reflection's eyes were pitch black. Her mouth stretched in a grin that wasn't hers. Zain, desperate to prove it was all a trick, stormed into the mirror room alone. "I'm ending this," he said, grabbing a rusted candelabra from the floor. It's just a damn mirror. Zain, don't. Saba screamed, but he was already inside. The door slammed shut behind him, the bolt sliding into place with a metallic screech. Ayesha snapped out of her trance, pounding on the door. Zain, open it. Inside, Zain's flashlight flickered. The mirror reflected his face, but behind him a shape formed. A woman, tall and emaciated, her hair trailing like smoke. Her eyes bled black, and her mouth opened in a silent scream. Zain, she whispered, her voice echoing inside his skull. You can't leave me. Zain stumbled back, the candelabra clattering to the floor. The mirror pulsed, its surface rippling like water. The woman's hand reached out, her fingers brushing the glass inches from his face. Outside, Ayesha and Saba screamed his name, their voices muffled. The door rattled but wouldn't budge. John stood frozen, muttering a prayer under her breath. She's chosen him, she said. She'll take him if you don't stop her. The mirror's surface shimmered and the woman's face pressed against it. Her hollow eyes locked on Zain. Stay, she hissed, her voice a blade. Zain's scream echoed as the mirror glowed, casting the room in an unnatural light. Part 3. The Haveli's air was thick, oppressive, as if the walls themselves were closing in. The mirror room's door rattled violently, Zain's muffled screams echoing from within. Ayesha pounded on the wood, her fists bruising, her voice hoarse. Zain, hold on, we're getting you out. Saba clung to Ayesha's arm, sobbing. API, she's got him, Roshni's going to kill him. Her dupatta had slipped, her hair wild, her eyes red from crying. John stood a few feet away, her weathered face etched with resignation. She muttered prayers under her breath, her fingers tracing a tasbih. You can't fight her like this, she said, her voice cutting through the chaos. She's stronger now. You've fed her with your fear. Ayesha spun around, her eyes blazing. Then tell us how to stop her. You know something. Help us. John's gaze flickered to the door, then back to Ayesha. Roshni is no ordinary spirit. She's a curse, bound to that mirror by blood and betrayal. She can only be freed by someone who invites her in willingly. Invites her, Saba whispered, her voice trembling. What does that mean? It means she needs a body. John said, a soul to anchor her. She'll use your pain, your weakness, to trick you into saying yes. And you, she pointed at Ayesha, you're already listening to her. Ayesha's stomach twisted. The whispers, Ayesha, stay with me, hadn't stopped since the mirror room. They were louder now, curling around her thoughts like smoke. She shook her head, trying to focus. Zain's in there. We need to get him out. The door shuddered, then went still. A low, guttural laugh echoed from inside, followed by silence. Ayesha's heart pounded. Zain, she called, pressing her ear to the door. A faint voice answered, weak but his. Ayesha, I'm okay, just get me out. Saba grabbed a rusted iron rod from a corner, swinging it at the door's bolt. We're coming, Zain. The metal clanged, but the bolt held firm. Ayesha joined her, kicking at the wood, desperation fueling her strength. John stepped forward, her voice sharp. Stop, you'll only make her angry. There's another way. She pulled a key from her shawl, smaller than the one she'd used before, its edges jagged. This opens the lock, but you must be ready. She's watching. Ayesha snatched the key, her hands shaking. Why didn't you give us this before? Because you weren't ready to know, John said. Once you open that door, there's no turning back. She'll see you all. Ayesha hesitated, the key cold against her palm. The whispers grew louder, her name a chant. Ayesha, look at me. She glanced at a cracked mirror in the hallway, her reflection staring back. For a moment her face seemed to blur, her eyes darkening, her lips curling into a smile she didn't make. She gasped, stepping back. API, what's wrong? Saba asked, her voice small. Nothing. Ayesha lied, her heart racing. Let's do this. She slid the key into the lock, the mechanism grinding. The door creaked open, revealing the mirror room bathed in an unnatural glow. Zain sat slumped against the far wall, his glasses askew, his face pale. The mirror loomed behind him, its surface rippling like water, the woman's silhouette wet faint but present. Zain. Ayesha ran to him kneeling. Are you okay? What happened? He looked up, his eyes haunted. She was here, in the mirror. She spoke to me, Ayesha. Said I was a betrayer like her husband. I saw her face, her eyes. He shuddered, clutching his head. They were bleeding. Saba hovered at the door, refusing to step inside. We need to leave, API, now. But Ayesha's gaze was drawn to the mirror. The whispers were deafening now, a chorus in her mind. Ayesha, you understand me, stay. She felt a pull, a connection she couldn't explain. Her mother's death 6 months ago had left a void, a raw wound that Roshni's voice seemed to soothe. She's not evil, Ayesha murmured, almost to herself. She's hurt. Zain grabbed her arm, his grip tight. What are you talking about? She's a monster, Ayesha. She locked me in here. SHH. Ayesha said, her eyes fixed on the mirror. She's trying to tell us something. Amma John's voice cut through. Don't listen to her. She'll use your grief, your pain. That's how she gets in. Ayesha shook her head, stepping closer to the mirror. I lost my Ammi. I know what it's like to be betrayed by life. Maybe Roshni just needs someone to hear her. Saba's scream broke the spell. API, look. She pointed at her arm, where fresh scratches had appeared, red and angry, forming the word mine. Blood trickled down, staining her sleeve. Ayesha's breath caught. Saba, when did this happen? I don't know. Saba sobbed. I woke up, and they were there. She's doing this. Zain pulled Saba away from the door. That's it. We're done. Ayesha, you're not thinking straight. This place is messing with you. But Ayesha couldn't look away from the mirror. Her reflection stared back, her eyes flickering black for a heartbeat. She's not just a ghost, she said, her voice distant. She's like me. Amma John grabbed Ayesha's shoulder, her fingers digging in. Listen to me, girl. Roshni was betrayed, yes, but she's no victim. She's a predator now. She'll take your body, your soul, if you let her in. You're giving her what she wants. Ayesha wrenched free, her voice sharp. Then tell me how to help her. There's got to be a way to talk to her, to understand. Amma John's eyes narrowed. There is a way, but it's dangerous. A ritual from the old days. It opens a door to her world, but it risks letting her out. Do it, Ayesha said, her voice firm. I need to know. Zain threw his hands up. Are you insane? Saba's bleeding, I was trapped, and you want to talk to this thing? Saba clutched Ayesha's arm. API, please, she's marking me, she'll kill us. Ayesha softened, hugging her cousin. I won't let her hurt you, Saba. I promise, but I can't leave without knowing. This is bigger than us. Amma John sighed, her shoulders sagging. Very well, but you'll need something of hers, something tied to her life. She gestured to the journal Zain had found. That belonged to the man who sealed her. It'll do. They gathered in the foyer, the journal open on the floor. Amma John drew a circle of salt around them, muttering in Urdu. Allah Kai Pana Mangti Hoon is Shaitani Si Bakau. I seek Allah's protection, save us from this evil. She placed a candle in the center, its flame flickering despite the still air. Read from the journal. Amma John instructed, call her name, but be careful what you offer her. Ayesha opened the journal, her hands trembling. The words blurred, but she found a passage about Roshni's final moments. Roshni, daughter of Shahpur, betrayed by her love, bound by her curse, I call you, speak to me. The air grew cold, the candle's flame flaring blue. The whispers returned, louder, angrier. Ayesha, you see me. The mirrors in the foyers, mall cracked, forgotten, began to hum, their surfaces vibrating. Ayesha's reflection in each one shifted, her face morphing into a gaunt, hollow-eyed woman. Saba screamed, backing away. API, stop, she's coming. Zain grabbed the journal, slamming it shut. This is enough, you're making it worse. But the mirrors didn't stop. The largest one in the foyer cracked, a jagged line splitting its surface. From the fracture, a dark, viscous liquid seeped, dripping to the floor. It smelled of iron, blood. The puddle spread, forming words, you are mine. Ayesha stumbled back, her heart pounding. The whispers became a scream, echoing in her skull. Ayesha. The candle snuffed out, plunging them into darkness. When the lights flickered back on, the mirror was whole again. but the blood remained, pooling at their feet. Amajan's voice was a whisper. "You've opened the door. She's closer now." Saba collapsed, sobbing. Zain pulled Ayesha away from the mirror. "We're leaving, right now." But Ayesha's eyes were locked on the mirror, her reflection smiling, a smile that wasn't hers. "She's not done with us," she whispered. "And I'm not done with her." Part 4. The possession the Haveli was no longer just a house. It was a cage. The air thrummed with an unnatural energy, the walls seeming to pulse with every heartbeat. The pool of blood from the cracked mirror in the foyer had spread, its edges curling into new words. "Come to me." Ayesha stared at it, her breath shallow, the whispers in her mind now a relentless chant. "Ayesha, you are mine." Her reflection in the mirror flickered, her eyes blackening for a heartbeat before snapping back to normal. Saba clutched her bleeding arm, the scratches spelling mine now crusted with dried blood. She backed against the wall, her voice trembling. "API, we have to get out. This place, it's alive. She's everywhere." Zain, still shaken from his encounter in the mirror room, grabbed Ayesha's shoulders. "She's right, this isn't about your channel anymore, that thing. Roshni, she's doing this. Look at Saba's arm." Ayesha's gaze drifted to the mirror, her voice distant. "She's not a thing, Zain. She's someone like us." She touched the glass, her fingers lingering. The surface felt warm, almost alive, pulsing under her touch. Amajan stood at the edge of the salt circle, her tasbih clicking rapidly. "You've gone too far, girl," she said, her voice sharp. "You called her and now she's inside you. If you don't fight her, she'll take you completely." Ayesha's head snapped toward Amajan, her expression hardening. "Tum kaya janti ho." She spat in Urdu, her voice carrying an edge that wasn't hers. "She's been trapped for years, alone, betrayed. I understand her." Saba gasped, stepping back. "API, that's not you talking. Your voice, it's different." Zain's eyes widened. "Ayesha, snap out of it. You sound like someone else." Ayesha blinked, shaking her head as if waking from a dream. "I'm fine," she said, but her hands trembled. She glanced at her phone, the live stream still running despite the glitching screen. Comments flooded in, her voice changed. "There's something behind her." Those aren't her eyes. She turned it off, but the screen flickered back on, showing her face. Except her reflection was smiling, her eyes hollow. The Haveli groaned, a deep guttural sound. The front door, their only exit, was sealed shut, the handle cold and unyielding. Zain pounded on it, cursing. "It's like the house doesn't want us to leave." Saba's phone buzzed, the screen flashing static. A faint image appeared. A woman's face, her mouth open in a silent scream. Saba dropped it, screaming, "She's in my phone, she's everywhere." Amajan's voice was grim. "She's stronger now. The ritual opened a door and you're letting her through. You must close it." "How?" Ayesha asked, her voice wavering between her own and something older, colder. She hummed a haunting tune, a melody she didn't know, her fingers tracing the air as if following a memory. Zain grabbed the journal from the floor, flipping through it frantically. "There's got to be something here. Harrow wrote about sealing her. Maybe we can do it again." Saba pointed at the mirror. "We should break it, smash it to pieces." Ayesha's head whipped around, her eyes flashing. "Nahai," she snarled, her voice layered with another's. "You will not touch her." Zain and Saba froze, staring at her. Ayesha's face softened, confusion flickering in her eyes. I didn't mean that. I don't know why I said that." Amajan stepped closer, her eyes narrowing. "She's inside you, girl. Roshni's using your grief, your anger. You lost your mother, didn't you? She knows that pain. She's weaving it into you." Ayesha's eyes filled with tears. "Ami, she died 6 months ago. Cancer. I couldn't save her." She sank to her knees, clutching her head. "Roshni understands. She was betrayed too." Saba knelt beside her, tears streaming down her face. "API, don't listen to her. She's not your friend. She scratched me. Look." She held up her arm, the word mine now surrounded by fresh welts, as if clawed anew. Zain slammed the journal shut. "We're destroying that mirror. It's the only way." He grabbed the iron rod Saba had used earlier, storming toward the mirror room. Saba followed, her fear outweighed by desperation. Ayesha's voice stopped them, low and unnatural. Rock Jiao, stop. She stood, her posture rigid, her eyes glinting with something not her own. You will not harm her. Zain spun around, the rod raised. Ayesha, move. This ends now. But Ayesha's lips curled into a smile that wasn't hers. She hummed that eerie tune again, her voice blending with a deeper, older one. Tum mudge, na high rock sacked. You cannot stop me. She stepped toward the mirror, her movements jerky, as if pulled by invisible strings. Saba screamed, grabbing Zain's arm. She's not Ayesha anymore. Amma John began chanting, her voice rising. Allahumma in Na'ad. Hu bika min ash shaitan arajim. O Allah, I seek refuge in you from the accursed devil. She threw salt at Ayesha, who flinched as if burned, her eyes flickering between black and brown. Zain swung the rod at the mirror, the glass shattering with a deafening crash. Shards flew, cutting his hand, blood dripping to the floor, but the pieces didn't stay broken. They trembled, then slid back together, the mirror reforming before their eyes. The blood on the floor was absorbed into the glass, the surface glowing red. Ayesha laughed, a chilling sound that echoed with two voices. You cannot break me, she said, her head tilting at an unnatural angle. I am eternal. Saba sobbed, backing away. Zain, do something. Amma John pulled a small knife from her shawl, its blade etched with Arabic script. We must bind her, she said. A banishment ritual. It won't destroy her, but it might hold her back. She began carving symbols into the floor, chanting, Bismillah, protect us from this evil. Ayesha's body convulsed, her eyes rolling back. She spoke, her voice now fully Roshni's, deep and venomous. This body is mine now. You cannot take her from me. Zain dropped the rod, grabbing Ayesha's arms. Ayesha, fight it. You're stronger than her. Ayesha's head snapped toward him, her face contorting. Betrayer, she hissed, her voice dripping with malice. She lunged at Saba, her nails raking across her cousin's face. Saba screamed, blood welling from deep scratches on her cheek. Zain tackled Ayesha, pinning her to the floor as she thrashed, her strength unnatural. Hold her, Amma John shouted, pouring salt around Ayesha. The ritual needs time. Ayesha's laughter filled the room, the mirrors humming in response. The lights flickered, shadows dancing on the walls. Saba, clutching her bleeding face, crawled away, her voice a whisper. API, please come back. Amma John's chanting grew louder, the knife carving deeper into the wood. The mirror pulsed, Roshni's silhouette clearer now. A gaunt woman with bleeding eyes, her mouth open in a silent scream. Ayesha's body went limp, her eyes fluttering shut. For a moment, silence fell, broken only by Saba's sobs. Is it over? Zain asked, his voice shaking. Amma John shook her head. No, she's still here. The ritual only weakened her. We need a sacrifice to trap her again. Saba's eyes widened. A sacrifice? What does that mean? Amma John's face was grim. Someone must offer themselves to the mirror, willingly. Only then can she be bound. Ayesha stirred, her voice weak but her own. Zain, Saba, I'm sorry. Her eyes met theirs, filled with fear and guilt. But behind her, the mirror glowed brighter, Roshni's laughter echoing once more. Part 5. The final reflection, the Haveli, was a living nightmare, its walls throbbing like a heartbeat, the air thick with the stench of blood and decay. The mirrors, every cracked, dusty surface in the foyer, the corridors, even the polished brass fixtures, hummed with a malevolent energy, reflecting not just the room but glimpses of Roshni, her gaunt face, her bleeding eyes, her twisted smile. Ayesha lay slumped in the salt circle, her breathing shallow, her body twitching as if caught between worlds. Saba, blood dripping from the fresh scratches on her face, clung to Zain, her sobs echoing in the oppressive silence. Amma John knelt beside Ayesha, her knife carving frantic symbols into the floor, her prayers a desperate chant. Allahumma in Na'ad, hu bika min ash shaitan ajim. O Allah, I seek refuge in you from the accursed devil. Zain's hands shook as he held Ayesha's shoulders, his glasses fogged with sweat. Ayesha, come back to us. He pleaded, you're stronger than her. Fight it. Ayesha's eyes fluttered open, but they weren't hers. Black, bottomless voids stared back, her lips curling into a sneer. "She's mine." Roshni's voice hissed through her, layered and ancient. "You cannot take her." Saba's voice broke. "API, please, ye tum nahai ho. API, please, this isn't you." She clutched her bleeding cheek, the word mine on her arm now mirrored by new scratches forming hers across her wrist. Amma John's chanting faltered, her face pale. "The ritual failed, she's too strong, only a sacrifice can trap her now. Someone must give themselves to the mirror willingly." Zain's head snapped up. "A sacrifice, you mean one of us has to, what, die?" Amma John nodded, her eyes heavy. "Roshni's curse feeds on betrayal. She was betrayed by her husband, her soul bound to the mirror. Only a willing act of sacrifice can bind her again, but it comes at a cost." Saba's eyes widened, her voice trembling. "No one's dying. There has to be another way." Ayesha's body convulsed, her head jerking back. She spoke, her voice a mix of her own and Roshni's. I can feel her. She's showing me. Her pain, her husband. He sold her out, called her a witch. She burned Zain. She burned alive." Tears streamed down Ayesha's face, her own grief mingling with Roshni's. "I know that pain. Ami's gone, and I couldn't save her." Zain gripped her harder, his voice cracking. "Ayesha, that's not your fault. Don't let her use it against you. You're not her." Saba stumbled to her feet, wincing as she touched her scratched face. "I saw something too," she whispered. "When I fainted, I saw her memories. Roshni's husband, he stood there watching her burn. She cursed the mirror with her last breath, swearing to take anyone who looked into it. She's been waiting, API, for someone like you." Ayesha's eyes flickered brown, her own voice breaking through. "Saba, I'm trying. She's so strong." The mirrors pulsed, Roshni's laughter echoing through the Haveli. The lights flickered, casting shadows that twisted into claws on the walls. The front door, still sealed, groaned as if something was pressing against it from the outside. Zain's phone, abandoned on the floor, buzzed with static, Roshni's face flashing across the screen. Her mouth open, her eyes bleeding. "We can't stay here," Zain said, his voice resolute. "If a sacrifice is the only way, then." He swallowed hard, his eyes meeting Saba's. "I'll do it," Saba gasped. "Nahai, Zain." "No, Zain, you can't. We'll find another way. There is no other way." Amma John said, her voice heavy. "The mirror demands a soul. If you don't act, she'll take Ayesha. And then all of you." Ayesha's body jerked, her head lolling. "Zain, don't," she whispered, her voice her own for a moment, but Roshni's laugh burst through, chilling the air. "You think you can trap me? I am eternal." Zain stood, his jaw set. "Then let's see how eternal you are." He grabbed the journal, flipping to the final pages. Harrow wrote about a binding ritual, a sacrifice to seal the curse. "I'll lure her out of Ayesha and into the mirror." Amma John handed him a tawiz, its cloth inscribed with Quranic verses. "Wear this," she said. "It may protect you, but only for a moment. You must be quick." Zain tied the tawiz around his wrist, his hands steady despite the fear in his eyes. He stepped into the mirror room, the air growing colder with each step. The mirror glowed, its surface rippling like a storm. "Ta-see." Roshni's silhouette was clear now, a skeletal figure, her hair trailing like smoke, her eyes twin voids. "Come on, Roshni," Zain said, his voice steady. "You want a betrayer, that's me. I let Ayesha come here. I didn't stop her. Take me instead." The mirror pulsed, Roshni's laughter shaking the room. You," she hissed through Ayesha's mouth, her body rising unnaturally, her movements jerky. "You are nothing, she is mine." Ayesha's body lunged at Zain, her nails clawing at his face. He dodged, grabbing her wrists, the tawiz glowing faintly. "Ayesha, fight her!" He shouted. "Remember your Ami." Her laugh, her biryani, the way she called you her John. "You're not Roshni." Ayesha's eyes flickered, brown battling black. "Zain," she whispered, her voice breaking. "I'm trying." She clutched her head, screaming as if tearing herself apart. "Ami, help me." Saba sobbed, grabbing Amma John's arm. Do something, she's killing her. Amajan resumed her chanting, sprinkling salt around the mirror. Bismillah, bind this evil, seal this curse. The air crackled, the mirrors vibrating, the blood on the floor bubbled, forming new words. Take him. Zain faced the mirror, his reflection distorted, Roshni's face overlaying his own. You want a soul? Take mine. Leave Ayesha alone. The mirror's surface rippled violently, Roshni's form emerging, her skeletal hands reaching through the glass. Tum Mary Ho, you are mine, she hissed, her voice a chorus of rage. The room shook, dust falling from the ceiling, the walls cracking. Ayesha screamed, her body collapsing as a dark mist poured from her mouth, swirling toward the mirror. Now, Amajan shouted, offer yourself. Zain stepped closer, his voice steady. I give myself to you, Roshni, take me. The Taoies burned against his skin, crumbling to ash. The mirror glowed blindingly, Roshni's form lunging at him. Her hands wrapped around his throat, cold and unyielding, pulling him toward the glass. Zain, Saba screamed, lunging forward, but Amajan held her back. Ayesha, free of Roshni's grip, staggered to her feet. No, she cried, her voice raw. She grabbed the journal, reciting the binding words she'd memorized. Roshni, daughter of Shahpur, your curse ends here. Return to the mirror, be bound by my will. The mirror screamed, a sound that shattered the smaller mirrors in the foyer. Roshni's form wavered, her eyes locking on Ayesha. You cannot hold me, she snarled, but her grip on Zain weakened. The mist swirled back into the mirror, dragging Roshni with it. Zain stumbled, but the glass pulsed, pulling him forward. His hands pressed against it, sinking into the surface as if it were liquid. Zain. Ayesha grabbed his arm, pulling with all her strength. Saba joined her, their screams mingling with Roshni's wail. But the mirror was relentless, swallowing Zain's arms, then his chest. His eyes met Ayesha's, filled with fear and resolve. Get out, he whispered, live. With a final scream, Zain was gone, the mirror swallowing him whole. The glow faded, the surface stilling, reflecting only the room. Ayesha fell to her knees, sobbing. Zain, no. The Haveli trembled, a crack splitting the ceiling. Flames erupted from the walls, unnatural and blue, spreading fast. Amajan grabbed Ayesha and Saba, pulling them toward the front door, which now hung open. Run, she shouted. She's bound, but the Haveli won't let you go. They stumbled into the night, the Haveli collapsing behind them, flames consuming the mirrors, the journal, the blood. Saba clung to Ayesha, her face streaked with blood and tears. He's gone, API. He's gone. Ayesha's eyes were hollow, her voice a whisper. I did this. I brought us here. Amajan's face was grim. You trapped her. That's what matters. But she's not gone. She'll always be watching. Epilogue. Weeks later, Ayesha sat in her Lahore apartment, the footage from the Haveli uploaded to her channel. The video had gone viral, but the comments were a mix of awe and fear. That was real. What happened to Zain? Don't look in mirrors, she'd added a warning. This is our story. Believe it or not, but be careful what you see in the glass. At night, alone, Ayesha avoided mirrors, but her phone buzzed, the screen lighting up. She glanced at it, her heart stopping. Zain's face stared back, trapped in the glass, his mouth moving silently. Ayesha, she's still here. She dropped the phone, the screen cracking. From the shards, a whisper echoed. You are mine.